which direction should I go? East, west, north, south? Decisions. What to do? Where to go? How to get there? All I know is sometimes a man's gotta move. But, right now I feel like I should sit down. My back ain't what it used to be. I'm sure you're wondering who I am. I know I am. That was a joke. My name is Tom Carruthers. I was born in Park Hill, Ontario in 1880. My mother Isabella died in 1885. So I stayed with my aunt and uncle, William and Elizabeth Carruthers. Well, that arrangement went on until I received a summons from my father. Come out here to Austin, Manitoba. Let's see, now, this was back in 1896. I homesteaded with my father Ephraim and my stepmother, Jenny Reed McQuarrie. Yeah, we sure worked hard in those days, but despite all that hard work, I did find time for love. Yeah, in 1909 I married Etta Mae Giles. Yes, life was good. I was a beekeeper and I sold honey locally for years. I still remember how May and I set up the honey extractor in the kitchen. It was a large aluminum barrel set in frames. It was hand cranked with a drain at the bottom. They sure don't make them like that anymore, which might be for the best. Yeah, I loved gardening and grafting trees, growing fruit trees. I had oodles of raspberries and black raspberries. I can still taste their sweet juices on my tongue. I was a member of the Canadian Seed Growers Association in the 1920s and an elite seed producer. I was also a Robertson Associate member, one of the first 60 to be so honored. I was a pioneer in the development of power farming, and I was one of the first in the district to use gas for farm work. It was a bit unusual for the times, but my wife May had an entire quarter section in her own name. It was just east of my son Don's corner. We called it the ranch. In 1954, May and I donated land for the development of the Manitoba Agricultural Museum. Perhaps you've heard of it. Oh, that's the thing about being retired. You're tired. Funny, I'm older than I thought. I thought I was 70, but the government told me I was 73. That's the thing about the government. They know you better than you know yourself. Where'd we be without them? I know I'd be 3 years younger. The good thing about being old is having grandchildren. I raised shorthorn cattle and sheep, so every grandchild got a wool baby blanket at their birth. You know, I planted the evergreen trees and carriganas around the cemetery. Of course, I didn't do all that work myself. No, I had 7 sons, and they're the ones who did most of the actual work, although I did help out sometimes. And speaking of trees, the trees are there at the Three Creeks campground. They're there through an arrangement I made with the government. It was a large swath of trees that were to be left to grow. And if you pass by the campground these days, sure looks like they grew pretty well. As the years went on, I donated the home site to the museum as well, on the condition that May and I be allowed to live here. Just between us, I don't think they thought we would live that long. Yeah, that's the thing about being retired. Yeah. Spent a lot of time wondering what to do, which way you should go. East, west, north, and south. But then after you come up with all them ideas, you just find out you run out of energy and you fall asleep.
Tom Carruthers kept busy looking after his animals and working in the field until the age of 80, when he had a stroke. He had gone to pull someone out of a snowbank with his tractor, and he always said that was what caused it. After his stroke, Tom lived to the age of 87 and died shortly before Christmas.
Well, for all them unfortunate folks out there who don't know my name. My name's Don. Well, Donald Ephraim Carruthers, to be precise. That's the name my parents, Thomas and May, gave to me. You know, I love engines. You know, I could spend hours watching an engine move. When I got a little older, someone else caught my fancy. You're your old Tattersall, her name. Well, I did what a self-respecting man should do, and a fine woman has caught his fancy. I married her. We started farming. Not gonna lie to you, farming in the 1930s was hard, almost unbearable. But with a little help of family and friends, neighbors, we managed to wrestle through it. And I'll tell you the truth, we sure needed help sometimes. We weren't exactly rich, no sir. We heard of trouble coming. Remember sitting down at the radio? Right, listen. It sounded something like this.
Good evening. This is a news bulletin for September 3rd, 1939. Great Britain and France declared war on Germany today as German panzer divisions continue to pour into Poland. An anxious world awaits to see what German Chancellor Adolf Hitler has planned next.
Yeah, Canada declared war on Germany on September 10th. And for a while there, it seemed like nothing more was going to happen. We hoped and we prayed that nothing would, but next May, word came.
Under heavy German bombardment, all available British vessels began a desperate effort today to rescue Allied forces surrounded near the French port of Dunkirk. Stay tuned for a special statement by Prime Minister Winston Churchill following this program, as the fate of the free world hangs in the balance.
Things started to change real quick after that. There were posters up in Austin calling on all eligible young men to volunteer for service in the armed forces. The War Office even began sending men out to collect old farm machinery to melt down for the war effort. They needed guns and bombs more than old steam engines. Our heritage was being lost. I needed to warn everyone about that danger. Which direction should I go? East? West? North? South? I just knew a man's gotta move, but to be honest, my wife and eldest daughter sure felt neglected because I was gone all the time, so maybe I got a little too obsessed with it all. I'm exhausted thinking about it all now. Amazing we managed to pull it off. I guess with a little talk and a whole lot of elbow grease, we managed to get a lot of that old farm machinery over here on the 50 acres of land that Thomas and my mother May donated. Of course, I didn't do all that work myself. No, even though it felt like it sometimes. That's for sure. No, I formed a committee of friends and neighbors to help me out. Without their help, I can honestly say the museum wouldn't have ended up where it has. Who could have guessed the Manitoba Agricultural Museum would end up where it has today? I hoped, and I worked, but I could have never imagined it. I couldn't imagine that a war that can cause so much destruction could cause something so good. Why, one day they even gave me a Manitoba Historical Society commemorative medal. I don't know why. I didn't do nothing. I did to get a medal. No, sir. When I look at that, got all them engines in motion, those wonderful engines, and I look out at the homesteaders' village. Those are the only monuments to catch anyone's attention. And I hope provoke people to ask themselves the same question I often ask myself. If we ain't gonna preserve our heritage, who's gonna do it? Well, I guess I sure feel like sitting down. My back ain't what it used to.